Hello, world, and welcome to another episode of Focusology. I'm your host, Wolfrey, aka Nightwolf. And on this one, this is the fifth episode, and like I said on the last episode, I'll be talking about aliens this one. So, first interaction or encounter, I was roughly, I would say, 7, 8, maybe 9 years old. It was me, my my mother, my brother, and one of my cousins. We was out in Far Rockaway, and it was a nice clear night. So we was leaving from my cousin's house, just looking at the stars and everything. And all of a sudden, while looking at the stars, we seen a group of stars that formed something, but it was just see-through. It was just crazy the way that it was shaped, and it was just slowly hovering over us. So naturally, as kids being scared, me and my brother were standing in the middle of the street, just fucking screaming at the top of our lungs. My brother ran to the car, locked the fucking door, and rolled up the windows. My mother and my cousin went back to the steps of the house, and I was in the middle of the street. So the funny thing about it was, how did I get inside the car? And periodically when I asked my moms and my brother about it, first it's like a good pause, and then afterwards like, oh, well, your brother opened up the car door to let you in. He never opened up that door at all. But from that situation, not even situation, from that encounter, afterwards I would get this weird sensation with my ears, and I really didn't know exactly what it was, but there was just times that after, it was sort of like a ringing, like if you ever have that ringing in your ears, but it really wasn't a sound. It wasn't no sound at all. It would just be that feeling like something is ringing in my ears, but it's just nothing. But afterwards, I will always, look throughout social media or whatever, and, well, during that time, it wasn't no real social media. It was just fucking like AOL when it finally came out. But I will have something happen with my ears, and then I know it will rain. And the only thing that I was saying that came into my head was, they're here. And a couple of years went by. It wasn't like on and on continuously happening, but some years went by. Now I'm a teenager, and I used to just leave home and go to this arcade in Flushing called Smiles. And one day I was at the 7 train on 74th and Roosevelt, and I had that weird sensation in my ears again, but it didn't rain. It was a good day, but there was something that looked like a blimp flying over Manhattan that went behind the Empire State Building. And the weird shit was that on the way of it going towards the Empire State Building, everybody on the platform was walking around talking. The train was at the stop right before my stop, and once it went behind the Empire State Building, everybody in the train platform they just froze. The train that was coming stopped moving, and then it shot straight up into the sky, and everybody started moving like nothing ever happened. But in the midst of them being frozen, it was like this weird look in their faces, like they were just in this deep trance. So afterwards, I asked this guy that was standing next to me, did he see that or whatever? He was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was just like, holy shit, I've just seen something. And nobody seen it at all. So went to the arcade, played my games and shit like that, finally went home or whatever, and never spoke about it to anybody, because in a lot of situations, dealing with extraterrestrials and all of that, a lot of people would think that you're crazy or just trying to get noticed or some shit like that. But this is shit that I've actually encountered. There was another encounter that I had where me and this girl I was dating at the time was sitting on the stairs having a little rap battle. And it wasn't like we was drinking, we wasn't smoking no bud or nothing. We was just chilling, having a good evening, freestyling. And all of a sudden, she just turned pale white. And I was like, what the fuck? She looked like she saw a ghost type shit. And she was like, I want you to look, but I don't want you to look, but I need you to look just to make sure that I'm not fucking crazy. And when she pointed, I looked up. And on the next roof across from us was a gray just sitting there looking at us. Like literally just standing there looking at us. And during that time in Queensbridge, they just installed these alarms on a roof door. So, you know, you go open up the door, the alarm will go off or whatever. And she was like, yo, I'm not going to even lie to you. I don't want to fuck with you ever again. I don't even want to talk about this moment. If I ever bump into you from this day forth, I need you to stay the fuck away from me. And I couldn't do nothing about it. I was like, all right, well, damn, it's a awkward way to break up with somebody, but okay. So fucking I go home, get in the elevator, go upstairs, and the unfortunate thing about the apartment that I lived in was right next to the steps of the roof. So I go upstairs, start looking for, you know, getting my keys together, because I'm like, yo, I gotta hurry up and get in the fucking crib or whatever. But sometimes my pops used to lock the fucking top lock, and that shit used to be a hassle to open up, especially in the late night when you're trying to creep in without being heard. So while I'm doing that, the fucking roof door starts creeping open, just nice and slow. And all you see is like these long fucking fingers start reaching in the door and pulling the shit open. And I was just seeing a fucking eye from the reflection of the window just looking down. And I'm like, yo, these niggas is about to get me. Now, in the situation of the shit that I was dealing with, I would have let them take me, but I was just scared as fuck. I ain't gonna lie. There's a lot of things that I'm not scared of. I love my zombie apocalyptic shit. I love my extraterrestrial shit. But there's something about their approach and how they look. It just creeps the shit out of me. Like, I watched the movie, The Fourth Kind, you know, Fire in the Sky, a shitload of, you know, extraterrestrial movies. You know, naturally the originals, E.T. and a couple other ones, but, you know, the Fourth Kind and everything, I might be mixing in another movie. There was one of them where there was a doctor, and she was like a therapist or whatever, and she was, you know, seeing her patients. And as time passed, throughout them visiting her, they just kept talking about a moon-faced owl that would land on a windowsill. And from that, it felt like somebody was just looking at them. And, you know, she was just writing it down or whatever until that same fucking owl came to visit her. And throughout the time of the visits, they would show like the keyhole to the door of a bedroom with like some gas that would seep in to sort of like put her in a comatose state. But the only thing I would say about that they're wrong in is just the fact that it's not no type of gas that seeps into the room or whatever if you're being visited. It's a very high-pitched frequency that if you're not, you know, if you don't listen to different frequencies and stuff like that to be able to help, you know, elevate yourself and all of that, you wouldn't be able to hear this frequency. But it was a real high-pitched frequency that was barely able to be heard. But I know I heard that frequency before, and in the midst of me hearing that, my body felt like it was paralyzed, like I couldn't move at all. But I seen something walking towards me, not speaking out loud in the physical, but telepathically, you know, it was letting me know, like, I'm not here to harm you. There's some things that I want to tell you, and I just need you to pretty much calm the fuck down, because I know your response. I could hear what you're thinking, and if I let you loose from this frequency, you're gonna try to fight me, and I'm not here to cause any harm. I'm just trying to talk to you about something. But my only response is that I just said clearly, even if you're scaring the shit out of me, we gotta find a fucking better way, because I don't like that slow walking approach shit. I watch too many fucking horror movies, too many zombie apocalypse movies and shit like that for you to be approaching me all of that slow. How about from a distance? Hey, I know you may be scared, nigga, but I'm fucking coming in. I want to talk to you about something, and we just try to work it out from there. But yeah, that fucking feeling where it's like you're awake and seeing some shit walking towards you and you can't move is not pleasant. I get, if anything, a lot of people say like they're humanoids from the future that come back to try to talk to certain individuals about things to be able to help change humanity. But that approach is just fucking, it's just weird. I don't like it. The next situation was from that. I'm trying to remember because I had a couple of sightings. Like I seen a couple of things flying in the sky, circling around or whatever, but never like directed towards me. But a couple of years ago, well no, not even a couple of years ago, like last year or so, in the midst of me being introduced to shrooms, fucking just a lot of bugged out shit. It wasn't even bugged out. It was just like, I just see it as information being downloaded to me. And I know I told a couple of my friends about this shit, and they was laughing like, oh yeah, that sounds like some bugged out shit, but this is the shit that I have experienced. But the first time I took shrooms, I think it was either a golden cap. No, sorry, the first time that I took it was penis envy. The second one that I took was golden cap. When I took the golden cap, I know they say at first if you're not used to it, don't go outside, but I was hanging out with one of my peoples and I was like, fuck it, I'm going outside, I'm going to the store, get something to drink or whatever. And in the midst of me walking outside, I was listening to music that I created. And if y'all do want to listen to my music, y'all could go on SoundCloud, type in Wolf Free, look for a black wolf icon, and I got a couple of songs out there. But yeah, I was listening to my music. I just wanted to see how well in tune does my music fit with energy, like the energy that my music gives out. So I played one of my songs called Hunting. And in the midst of me playing that, the trees turned like a dark purple. And it was just this feeling like, I tell a lot of people that I speak to on a spiritual level that one of my spiritual animals is the wolf. But when I was playing that song Hunting, I felt it's like I transformed into a fucking wolf or whatever. I ain't gonna even lie. Like, I could feel, smell, see, hear a lot better than before. Naturally shrooms enhance a lot of shit. But anyway, yeah, so then I changed it to another song called Amazing Grace, and the trees turned like a light reddish color. And I just felt warm and welcome. I was just vibing with that. But then I looked up at the moon, getting back into the, alien experience and shit. I look up at the moon, and the only thing that came to me was that was a hologram for what really is behind it. And next thing you know, it was like I was teleported to the dark side of the moon. Like, I went over the little hologram. I was been listening to a couple of things where they talk about during the Aztec and the times of the Native Americans and even African tribes and all, like way back when, that they always talked about there was never no moon. All you see was stars and stuff like that. But the moon just appeared out of nowhere one day, and it pretty much sent off a frequency that started altering how the earth functions, dealing with tsunamis, typhoons, hurricanes, and all of that. So, anyway, I went over the hologram of the image of the moon that we see and went to the dark side of the moon, and the shit looked like the beginning of the first Black Panther movie. Like, it seemed like I was in fucking Wakanda, but on the moon, and it had a dark neon green glow around it. So as I'm, going to the temple, there was just standing there lined up like different creatures of different areas or whatever, specimens, whatever the hell you want to call them, just standing there in line, and at attention, greeting me, telling me, saying to me, welcome back. It's been a long time since you've been gone. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Time to go sit in your throne. So I finally go into the temple. The throne was empty. And one came up to me like, Saya, we've been waiting for you for a great time. We're glad that you're finally opening up, but we need you to open up more because there's things that you need to receive. But for the moment, sit upon your throne so you can feel the royalty in which you are. So after that, I came back into this body and I was just like, holy shit. That was a hell of an experience. That's some hell of shrooms, But then I started looking into things. People who will use LSDs, DMT, shrooms, ayahuasca, or whatever, and a lot of people reported that, in the midst of them being in that, or not in that, but taking that hallucinogen, they are visited by a gray and have conversations with them, and they talk to them about certain things. So it was definitely something different, for me to be able to experience something like that, come back. And also it just started making me think about a lot of times where me coming across people and they just tell me like, you originate from somebody or something of royalty. It's something about your energy and your posture and everything, and even the way that you talk that shows that you come from royalty. But the thing about it is that you have to go through the grains of the salt, being in the dirt and everything, and working your way up. So you'll be able to truly value, love, and respect all your people in the ways that they live and for you to be able to understand what it is and make a change. So, I just started thinking on a lot of shit. Maybe it's just in the sense where it's just like, all right, I was hallucinating, I done seen this shit, but it equals up with shit that I heard from the past. Is it a coincidence? Who knows? If it's a message for me to step my fucking game up and who I really am, then I guess that's what it is. And then the next situation was I took some shrooms and I spent the night at my brother's house. Now my brother is a big conspiracy theorist as well, but he has this thing where he more so focuses on like the government and shit like that. And, a lot of people have their things that they're in. No matter what, they always going to consider people who get into shit conspiracy theorists. So it is what it is on how they want to see it. But I'm at his place. He got the windows covered, shitload of locks on the doors and every fucking thing. Like, the only way you could really get in there is if you found just ran through the fucking front door and hoping that you can knock all of that shit off the hinges. But he sleep, I fall asleep. But about 1:35 in the morning, I wake up, but I still couldn't move. I'm hearing this frequency, and I blinked. And when I blinked again, there's this image standing there slowly walking towards me and just telling me, we're not here to harm you. We need to talk to you. You came home, but we need to talk to you about some things, and we need you to listen. But one thing we're going to let you know is that if we really wanted to harm you, it's clearly obvious. There was more than one opportunity to do so, and there's nothing that we can't get through. That door is still locked. We can't get through. We can get through anything. And me, like a bitch, I was screaming my fucking brother's name at the top of my lungs. This nigga was asleep. Like, I don't even mean like the regular sleep where you hear some shit, you jump up. This motherfucker was damn near at a point where it was like he was just dead. But I understood in dealing with the frequencies for a lot of people, if you're not immune to it, or if you don't catch on to it, you can't resist it. You just fall into it. So he was in a trance and didn't hear shit, because in the morning I was pissed the fuck off of him. I'm like, yo, you ain't fucking hear me calling you? He was like, nah, I was asleep. I'm like, yo, I was yelling at the top of my fucking lungs, screaming, yo, help me. I'm calling his fucking name and everything. And you ain't hear me at all? He was like, nah, I didn't hear you. I was like, shit. It is what it is, though, but it's just something, the extraterrestrial humanoids, whatever the fuck they are, and a lot of experiences on things that I've been listening to or videos that I watched and all on people who take any type of hallucinogen, they're saying like pretty much we live in a simulation, right? And in the simulation that we live in, we download information based off of exactly what it is that we're destined to do or what we call ourselves out to do and all. So it's like using a fucking old ass, the old ass internet, like AOL or whatever, where that shit took forever to load everything up. Compared to now where it's like a fast download or whatever. But, in the midst of that, I feel, this is just my feelings, that dealing with shrooms, fucking DMTs, LSDs, ayahuasca, and shit is something that opens you up to be able to reach another place within yourself. Because since I've been taking shrooms and all, I've been receiving like prophetic messages. If not for me, then definitely for others and all. If for some reason it's like I receive messages to help others out, but the only message I get for myself is for me to be able to know where and how to grow within myself. Not really do too much of a change. So I guess for me, my objective right now is to really grow into who I truly am designed to be. I don't fully know who that is, but I know as days go by and I just look at everything, and it's not really all of the bullshit that you see on the news and all of that. I'm just talking about nature, life, fucking being able to just look at the littlest thing, which is pure, and feel complete happiness from it. Understanding that in everything that we fucking do, all of this working and everything, trying to make the biggest amounts of money and all of that shit and all, and busting your fucking ass, I'm not saying it's not appreciated. It's just that life is so much fucking easier than that. And I've understood that just from my encounters and being on some fucking shrooms. It's just like, where do they come from? What are they? If they're humanoids and us from the future, what the fuck is it that we're doing that's going to end up having us be to a point where we have to readapt and change our bodies in order to be able to live in an environment that is probably catastrophic? It's something about humanity where it's like we build more to destroy more. And if these are warnings that a lot of people is being visited on now to be aware of what's going to happen to make changes to better the planet and all, I think a lot of motherfuckers need that shit to be able to wake the fuck up and really understand like what's going on. Yeah, they're talking about building and having pods on the moon and on Mars and shit like that, but in the next moment, we never been to this place, we never been to that place, we never landed here, we never landed there. I don't know, and honestly, I really don't give a fuck. All I know is that the way things is going, some shit is stirring to happen. You're dealing with particle accelerators and shit, crossing between dimensions, splicing dimensions and universes and shit like that. I'm not on no fucking Doctor Strange or fucking Avengers shit. Like, I'm just me. And if there's superheroes out there that's protecting us from a lot of shit that's going on, thank you for your services. Other than that, it's just like I said, the extraterrestrials, UFOs, aliens, whatever the hell you want to call them. Now a lady did a fucking report saying that we can't even call them extraterrestrials because they don't like that. They feel sensitive about it. You're talking about superior beings that are able to talk telepathically, that is able to fucking go through anything, that could travel through space and time, and they have something that they're offended by. Like, seriously. I'll listen to this one podcast on 10 for you, as a matter of fact. There's one episode when this guy was just talking about he had an encounter with one, and they were just letting him know, like, dude, we really don't need you. You know, we're not going to harm you and all. And if you want to think about it, you're really beneath us. It's just something that we need to talk to y'all about to be able to prevent certain shit. But other than that, we don't need anything from you. And I understood that because I had a message one day when I was talking with this one dude, and it just came out of me. It came out so fucking blunt, so bland, and it seemed disrespectful in what I was saying. But throughout the time of me being on the shrooms, and he was talking about shit that he was going through, and I was explaining to him about extraterrestrials and everything like that, and how superior they are compared to regular people. And the only thing that came to me is, like, I ended up going into a trance where I was just like, you should be honored to be in my presence, for I don't need to be here speaking to you at all. If you ask me who I am, and that's it. I don't have a name. I don't need no fucking reason to have a name. I am me. And that's all you need to know. And that shit right there, I'm not gonna lie, if that was like my super ego, alter ego, or just ego in general speaking, that motherfucker is somebody that I think in this world right now definitely needs, and I would need to get in tune with him. But if that was something that from them came through me to speak to him, for him to be able to understand their existence and their status compared to us, I mean, clearly in a statement like that, it's just like, yo, yeah, I really don't need to say nothing at all. You know, and the only thing that came to me is, for every single human being that has a name and giving nicknames and shit like that, is to only make you feel special. When you get to a higher level within yourself, there is no fucking name. You are just you. You know, there ain't none of this shit that's going on. Oh, I identify as this and that and all. No, it's just I am me. Well, who are you? I am me, and that is it. And that's some real fucking shit right there. You know, so it's definitely a lot that is going on. Definitely a lot of things that people see and talk about other than me, but I'm just going off of my experience. And like I said, my thing is just that I do want to be able to sit down and talk with them. I do want to be able to receive messages. Hell, there was even a time here in my fucking truck, my doors is locked. This is the last one, and I told a couple of my brothers about this. The doors is locked. It was a nice, cool night. I'm in my sleeping bag, going to sleep, watching a movie, and I felt a presence in the truck. And the only thing that I said out loud was, look, I'm laying here watching this movie and I'm going to sleep. If you want to watch it, you're more than welcome. If you want to talk, you're more than welcome. But I'm not going to turn around and be creeped out, because I will hook the fuck off on you. So to avoid that, I will talk to you with my back turned. So I didn't really hear nothing. I heard like a light whisper, but because I had my phone so loud, I couldn't make out what the whispering was saying, and I didn't want to for some reason. But I fell asleep around 1:27 in the morning. I jumped up, but when I jumped up out of my sleep and everything, one of my doors closed. So I'm like, okay, let me fucking jump up and see if anybody's running off or whatever. Nobody is in sight. But I went up front and had a cigarette, and instead of me turning the truck on to build up the heat, I just sat there and just had my smoke or whatever. But in the midst of that, the windshield started fogging up, and there was 4 or 5 images on my windshield. The first image was like, it was a neat circle inside of a circle, and it was a tree. The second image, same thing, the 2 circles, and then it was like a clock, but that didn't have no numbers on it. The third one was a speedometer that didn't have no numbers on it. The fourth one had 4 balls inside of it on some Dragon Ball shit. And the fifth one, I can't really make out, but I think it was just like an empty circle inside of a circle. And, you know, me and one of my brothers tried to decipher the meaning of that. You know, knowing him, he's a quick thinker, and he comes up with his theories, and if you don't stand stern and shit, you'll believe every fucking thing that he's saying if you don't know him too well. But I mean, what he said sounded believable, but I think there's still more to it. So I just haven't thought on it recently, but the images is just stuck in my head. But I mean, they're here. They're trying to reach out to us for a reason, because something is about to transpire. And if we really don't pull together with shit and try to work on making changes and all, even though these, the speech has been going on for years, everybody needs to unite. We all need to be as one and work together. But it's something about to go on, because they're reaching out to too many people about pretty much the same fucking thing. So it's either that, or you're just giving, you're getting a lesson on how to hire yourself. And I think that's like a gateway to being able to break free from this fucking simulation that we live in. Because I think it's just something of a certain frequency that's given off, that's keeping us inside of a transition of working like ants. And once we get higher within ourselves spiritually and break free from that and really see how to be able to live life, have peace, and all of the other stuff, the value and the shit that we're busting our asses for really lessens as we demand and have that hunger for something more within ourselves. So that's one of the things that I get from that. But definitely the encounters have been exciting. Yeah, they were scary, and I really do hope that there's a time that I could actually welcome them in and talk with them calmly. The funny thing about it is I have a fucking alien mask that sits in the passenger seat in my truck, and I'm okay with that shit. But every encounter that I have seeing these motherfuckers, it sends chills down my fucking spine. And if I'm not ready to fucking haul ass, I'm ready to beat their ass. And then afterwards, when I calm down, I'm like, all right, let's talk. And I don't think anybody will want to talk after getting their ass whooped, So I'm going to try to work on that, But I definitely want to hear a lot more messages of what it is that they want to tell me. So I'm going to be on some Optimus Prime shit and just be like, I'm here, I'm ready, and I'm open to listen. I'm going nowhere until y'all teach me some shit on how to time travel or fucking get a fucking ship and fly the fuck out of here. Then I'll be gone. But other than that, I'm here, and that's pretty much it. There's just so much to this world. So many things that people see, and we all get identified as being fucking crazy, but it'd be the craziest ones that know the truth in things, and the ones who try to stay like they're normal. There's no fucking such thing as normal. So this has been another episode, my 5th one. Yeah, I know I'm cutting this short, but that's all I had to tell you. It's just my experience and my thoughts on it real quick. If you got anything to say about it, you could either comment on this or hit me up on Instagram at Wolfrey1, and I'll be willing to talk with anybody about anything and everything, whatever's to my knowledge, like I said before. So for whoever's listening, I appreciate y'all highly. Other than that, keep growing within yourselves, keep rising and reaching further peaks within yourselves. I love all of y'all. Have a good one. Worried up.